You signed Kyler Kelly to a 10-day. What led to that transaction?
Another young guy that we want to, eventually get a look at the center position. So that's kind of the thought behind it.
I know you talked about Jose after the Clipper game, a second double-double, just leading that unit, getting a lot of opportunities now with the starters. How have you seen him progress with his entire game?
We love the steps that Jose has taken to continue to improve. Like you said, he's leading that first unit, being sound with the basketball, offensively, looking to get guys involved. We know he can, score, in bunches and score at times. But I love that he's being patient out there and taking what the defense is giving him. He's picking up guys full court. So major growth steps for Jose.
Coach, I know you spoke to this to a degree, but can you talk about some of the positive things you've seen from some of these young guys? The third quarter come back against the Clippers, pulled it within 5, seeing them kind of get some cohesion and chemistry, even though you see some of the youthful indiscretions, but still seeing some positive things from them.
Yeah, the biggest thing right now is we want our guys to go out and outcompete, outwork. Every time they step out on the floor, that's the goal. Be disciplined, have game plan discipline, offensively share the ball. We got to take more threes. That's an improvement for us. Defensively, continue to contest shots, keep teams out of the paint. So a lot of those concepts, we're seeing some steps in the right direction, even with a young team. And what I'm telling our guys is that, the results may not always be there, but you guys continue to embrace this opportunity because it's rare that you get an opportunity like this with so many young guys on the floor.
In spite of advancements in science and all the conversation around rest, injuries have been trending up league-wide over the last several years. You're obviously someone who's been on the losing end of that stick several times. What do you attribute that to, if you had to guess? And as a coach, how do you navigate having to deal with injuries?
I do not have a good guess on what that reason is. I think not just myself, but, the whole league is trying to figure out how we can, be better in that area. And we all want to see the best guys on the floor consistently. So, it's been a difficult season going through as many injuries that we've had this season. But I think the best thing that we can do moving forward is you want to have a deep roster to be able to withstand some guys going down here and there. I mean, that's, what we've done in the past in this season. We didn't have, the amount of guys that you can bring in on the floor to be able to, sustain when you can get some of your main guys out.
You played the Lakers pretty recently, but it just seems that their volume of three makes have gone way up in the last few weeks. What does that do to challenge your defense? How do you have to adjust to that?
Well, we have to do a good job of contesting shots, making those guys put the ball on the floor. Most NBA players, when they take 1 or 2 dribbles, their percentages go down. So take away the catch and shoot threes, take away the easy drive, paint touch, kick out threes, and finish possessions, rebound the ball. Don't allow teams to get second chance opportunity. Those are always moments where they get an offensive rebound. Now we're scrambling, they kick out for threes.
Willie, good to see you.
How you doing?
You spent a year with JJ as a teammate in this building. I'm curious kind of what your impressions were before you got to know him and how different they were once you did get to know him.
Even though we're not teammates, it was a mutual respect on the floor for how hard he played. We both were in the game at times, guarding each other when he was playing for Orlando. But we had mutual respect. I would see him in chapel at times, so we had some discussions there. So, and then, getting an opportunity to play with JJ and being his teammate, he's as good as advertised, is what I would say. He's authentic, hard worker, competitive, has a high competitive drive to win every time he steps on the floor in any game. And I think we're seeing a lot of that as he's transitioned into coaching.
At that stage, I don't know that either of you guys were necessarily thinking about being head coaches at that point, but did you ever talk about coaching ever?
Never, nope. When you're playing, especially that, we still were kind of prime of our careers. JJ's a little younger than I am, but your whole focus and all your energy is going into, being the best that you can be as a basketball player. And I'm speaking for myself. I had no idea that I was going to coach. Maybe it's something that's in the back of your mind, but you really don't put too much thought into that. Everything is going into preparing yourself for each and every game.
Hey, Coach. The Lakers start 3 players in Luka, LeBron, and Austin that they, rely on as offensive creators. Just as a coach, opposing coach, how do you plan for that? And then what have you seen from them as a trio so far?
Yeah, all 3 guys, they're tough guards. You have to make everything difficult for them. Pick them up full court, make their catches extremely difficult. Don't allow them to catch the ball easily. Try to force them into taking tough twos, not allowing, LeBron and Luka, they love the, sort of step back threes with space. So, you got to do everything you can to make it very difficult on them, force them to kick it to some teammates and get out and contest shots. But, when those guys touch the ball as much as they do, they're going to score. You just got to continue to stay with it and be disciplined with your defense. All right, thanks.